Going to call the meeting to order. It is the Moretown Selectboard. It is Monday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Is that what today is? With the
May 4th, yeah.
start May 4th. All right. We try to be May the 4th be with you. That's all right. All right. The John Hogan meeting room. Here we are. So we're going to go ahead and start with public comment. So if we have anyone here for just general public comment. And it looks like there's a hand in the back, my right, your left. If you just state your name and give a few minutes. Say again?
April Shaw.
April Shaw.
I'm here on behalf of the Board of Trustees for the library and would like to make a recommendation to have the open trustee spot filled.
All right.
With Jason Garish, who's not here right now, but has said he'd be willing to fill the next 2 years of the open term.
You can only do one.
Yeah, I think.
You only do one?
You'd have to run on the ballot next year for the remaining term.
That would be,
Yeah.
All right. Any questions on Jason Garish? Well, all right. I'd certainly move to accept Jason Garish for the 2-year, it's a 2-year term, but he's going to actually just finish out this continuing year, and then he can rerun for that final year if you'd like. Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Don, thank you. Any further discussion?
Does it have to be on the agenda?
I was
Was a warrant thing?
bring it up in the public comment.
I don't know. I don't.
Well, if it's public comment,
Is on the agenda.
yeah, public comments on the agenda. I mean, like, well, what happens if someone brings, like, it's like, someone comes in, brings something up, and then,
No, if we're moving and voting on something, it needs to be warned.
I think they did this last year for one of the trustee positions, and they did it as public comment as well.
Yeah, and we've been paying a little more attention to the open meeting law, and some of the things have changed. So what we'll do is we will put it on our agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
So it's
To ratify it.
just to ratify it, yeah. So Jason can go ahead and do his duties or start working with you, but we'll go ahead and ratify it next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. April, how are things going at the library?
So far, so good.
All right, well, thank you yourself for doing the job. All right, anything else with the public comments? Chris, let me, actually, hold on just a moment, Chris, I got people that need to get in here. All right, we can go ahead. Chris?
Chris Stevenson, I had a couple of random things, 2 from the rec committee. One is we're down to 4 members at this point. We lost one of our members in March, and then another stepping off, at least temporarily, for the foreseeable future. So I wanted just to let you know that the 4 of us are hoping to post positions in FDF and maybe in like the PTO newsletter or something to recruit, to bring it back up to 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
committee members. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that. This was a little tight.
Yeah, I know Leanne mentioned that. It was
Yeah,
a little busy there with you guys.
yeah.
Are you actively trying to find some new members or?
Well, it's sort of all just happening. So yeah, we will now. We have a lead on some. We really need someone that really can help with pick up where we left off with the tennis, pickleball. This has been such a big success. So we've got maybe some leads on that, but if anyone has any leads, rec committee members, we also were hoping to get support pollinator gardens or, I mean, really anything where you come up with a list of things that people would be excited about and join for any reason. Let's start with something small.
Sure, well, that'd be good.
Yeah, so I figured I'd work with Sasha and that to maybe send it out to the town.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like post something on the front porch forum, taking it. So
Yeah. We're also working on a lease agreement. I don't know we'll send it as a follow-up, obviously, but it's the idea, we're calling it a lease agreement, but it's the concept of if an entity wants to leverage the town forest for a function, that they give us a heads up. It kind of targets larger, longer-term relationships like Neck of the Woods or North Branch Nature Center, doing summer camps here, so that we're not like, oh, we're doing summer camps here, great. Instead, we would have a formal path with them, sort of signing off on the rules that we already have for the parcel, being aware of how we already manage it here, and then giving us a chance to letting people know.
You know, do we have a lot of groups that are using the facilities?
Well, those are the two that I think are large. We have the organized soccer club. I think there's some regular tennis and definitely pickleball, although it's been largely through the rec committee. I'm not aware of a lot else beyond that. So this, people might, if they find this on our website, might reach out. I don't think we need to manage birthday parties in the pavilion. We're not trying to do reservation systems, but awareness of our rules, if nothing else.
No, I think it's a good idea, and I think it'd be nice to get a eyesight on really what's going on here at all times, because I've been up and there have been large groups here and there, you know, and you're just wondering who they are or what they're
Make sure they have insurance.
Their insurance is a big thing. Yeah.
Trying to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring that, say we're implementing the other members of the committee, or we're gonna send that to, should we send it through the whole group, or is there?
You can send it to Sasha and she can send it out. Yeah.
Land use agreement will be better.
It has a better title than I.
Like more sense than lease. Yeah, just a,
Yeah.
doesn't really matter what it's called, but yeah. Just,
just a quick update, I had another 10-pack of GMBS kids show up last Friday to do trail work. It was amazing, 7 through 12 graders and 2/3 of. We cleaned up the Skills Park Story Walk and a couple of inner loops and did some dirt work, and just, I think it's fourth or fifth year in a row that they've been coming to help us, so that was awesome. Just wanted to bring that up.
Good, thank you.
A small audience, probably put that in FPI. And then on a personal basis, my wife and I were interested in changing the name of the street we live on. And it wasn't really clear in the zoning process how to do that. So like we didn't know how to get started on that.
Start with Carol.
She did.
She probably said to come here.
Names that we bring them to you
Yeah.
in a public forum. I don't know how to do it.
It's gonna be your 9/11 too. You have to do it with the, for emergency, 9/11, they have to get it recording.
So I figured
well.
that there's an approval on the name, so that's not obnoxious or
Right. Or use.
repetitive or.
So you can send that into Sasha, but let me talk, and I'll talk with Carol as well, and just figure out how to proceed with it.
I guess I could talk to Craig and Shmella to the Living Tree Alliance. I think there's some.
Did they? But I don't know. I don't remember them redoing it, but.
No. But when you want to do something like that, you need to have at least 3 different names for the select board to approve.
Where is that written? I've seen this in other towns, but I hadn't seen that in any more town documentation.
We do have it. But there is a document, so that's why I said, let me figure out, I have seen it because when the last one that I recall doing was, Rivers Road down here.
Right.
And I remember there were three that he put in, and I don't know whether it was a form through.
Okay.
What it was.
They can go on to the next one, suggest that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And I'll also talk with her about it this fall. We'll get you, what are you coming up for names, Chris?
We wanted, because we're the only ones living there, but we're gonna have a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and like, we're gonna change it now, it'll be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Plus the path we're trying to put in there. The one that we liked the best came up at, public, or town meeting, I think, it came up at town meeting, but this was historically called the Hollow. So we liked Hollow's Edge.
Oh, nice.
We thought, we came up with some bad ones and.
Well, that's a lot of fun doing that, right?
That was the one that was stuck the most.
Yeah. Well, good. We'll try to help you get through that process. Anything else?
No, I wouldn't.
All right, let's just see, make sure there's no one else trying to get in. Anyone else for general public comments? All right. So we have the Finance Review Committee, and I know Jason's here. We got Cheryl Lynn. We have Bob on online. So if you guys want to come up and present what you have, Cheryl Lynn? Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Pieces of face with me.
A little bit better. Is that better for you guys? All right, so we have, I guess, Jason, you're going to present tonight.
Well, I'm filling in, but I can tell you what we talked about.
All right.
First, it feels like old times. so
Yeah, I was
thank you
gonna
for
say,
that.
nice to see you.
So, Finance Review Committee, we consider our remit to even out cash flow over the years and try to encourage fiscal responsibility. So the specific recommendations we have for this meeting. For the important stuff, we're basically saying we need more information. There's a lot of discussion about town hall going on right now. And as a group, we're very concerned with the overall effect on the town municipal tax rate. And what we didn't have was enough information about the cost of the various options leading up to full renovation and what decisions could be made now, what to hold off on, what should be done right away. We can't do anything about cash flow for that at this point. So given more information, we're happy to talk about it. So that's where we stand on the town hall at this point.
And I do have this that you sent me. The RFPs on the proposal pricing.
Yeah, we have a whole breakdown.
That we just need that. If that's not this. Is that this?
No, I sent you construction documents. I don't know if well, there is a cost estimate for mail and bring, so you're.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Oh, I thought it's actually on the file cabinet there too.
Okay.
The copy, but I can get it to you electronically.
Something I really find useful is being able to parse out the decision points and say, if we do this much, it would cost this much. If we added on these additional features, it would cost this much. And so on. So that way we can determine how it fits
I
in.
can sit down and do that a little bit with you, but for instance,
That'd be
the
great.
grant that we just applied for $397,000. It was a bit of a piece of work to just parcel that out to meet the grant requirements and meet a phase that's really needed in terms of the accessibility and some of the water mitigation stuff. I won't get into the weeds right now. But on top of that, for that, like a first phase would be probably an additional, if we were got the grant, it would probably be an additional 200 in that range to really fully do a first phase one that would make sense,
Over what
anyways.
period of time, roughly?
Well, it'd be great to do it next spring, and it would be, a couple of months of construction probably. But it's tough to break the project up because just the next phase is more expensive, than when you try to do it in multiple phases or 3 phases.
Right.
Right, I think that's a good starting point where you have already broken down that initial, this is what we need to do to keep this building.
Yeah, to do
So it's
it
stayed
first.
up.
Well, and also is to get this grant.
Right. with that, and then with Jason, because you said you're gonna need more money in addition to that. And that can be your
Exactly.
stepping off point. All right, this is our first stepping off point. We're looking at 150 or 200,000. Is that feasible with a bond or whatever we decide?
So there will be decision points about achieving certain goals. We have asset preservation. We have a great town hall and want to keep it. That will cost money.
Yeah,
Then we have compliance. That also will cost money. And then we have improvements. That's optional, and we can price that out too and see.
well, this first phase is pretty much compliance. There's a lot of compliance. It's really what that first piece is.
Right, so the part that we need to do is preservation and compliance.
Yeah, well, that's
And thereafter, there's nice stuff.
pretty much.
Okay, so I think that lays out what we need to see, and then we can move on.
And then on top of that, just to throw out there, we do have folks that are working on a capital campaign and raising, getting donations. So we have raised some money, which was originally covered the last phase of the construction documents and such. We have a small balance or whatever, but we're waiting to gear, that group is waiting to gear back up once we sort of have a plan in place. It's hard to do fundraising if you can't tell someone what the end goal is, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to raise money for. I mean, we can tell them what we're trying to raise money for, but now we have boots on the ground. Let's say we get this grant and the town contributes something and we still have to make up the difference. I think we have the capabilities of reaching out to the community and raising some funds.
So then finishing up on the major things about which we don't know it. We have the FEMA flood money. So that's something hanging over us that will have a big effect on the town's cash flow as well. So just to put everything into perspective, a penny on the municipal tax rate gives us $40,000. If I remember correctly, back when I was on the board, I think it was the penny gave us $22,000.
Yeah.
So it shows us the amount of impact the grand list has had upon the town and the people in the town.
Read that one more. How much was it, Jason? 40,000?
It's 40,000 now.
40,000 now,
Cheryl
okay.
just gave me that number.
Okay.
It's on your spreadsheets there. There's two different spreadsheets. There's the capital debt that shows what we have currently, what we've had, and then what is forthcoming. And then there's also the other spreadsheet is the, when Don had asked me to find out figures for the $1 million, it's highlighted there. I put that in there. And I went out to the bond bank and to Northwood Savings Bank and got rates and debt schedules for those as well. And that's based off of one of the debt schedules. So you can kind of look at that where it says town hall, but you can kind of take that as a flood too, because we do have those funds coming up. So if you add that plus the two together, you gotta add that figure in there again. And as you can see in that capital debt schedule, it's been more than double in 2018. And it went up, just under 100,000 just for 27.
So unfortunately, the big picture isn't very pretty.
Oh,
So, we'll do what we can to even things out, but I think we pretty much guarantee things are going to be more expensive in the future. But looking at things that are optional to the town at this point is really very difficult. Getting into the weeds a little bit, just because this is what we spent our time on in our meeting, is we had a firm look at for a new loader. And there are options for the interest rate where the longer term cost more. So one thing that we decided to recommend was to bring the term in from 15 years to 10 years, because we'll be paying a low interest rate, and help subsidize that additional annual cost over the longer term by dipping into the capital reserve. The advantage of that is after the 10 years are up, we get to pay back the capital reserve. So the net effect on the capital reserve should be zero.
Yeah.
But we'll be paying less to water.
Over the next five, once the 10-year loan's up, we
Right.
just continue to pay the capital reserve back the money that we got.
Over the 5.
Yeah, so
So it
instead
would
of,
be the 15 that way, yeah.
instead of having a $19,000 payment, we're gonna have a $24,000 payment. So the difference we'll take out of the capital reserve. But when that 10 years is done, we'll start paying that money back to the capital reserve.
Year, and we're making a little interest on that as well.
Mhm.
That seems like a good idea.
And I do have the loan document here, ready to sign for that, if you agree on it and want to make motions to do, go that way, so that we can get the check out to, for the loader based on the 10-year loan.
So that pretty much is the recommendation of the finance committee for this last meeting. And we'll be happy to help more with more solid information on our two major unknowns, which are how can the town hall project be parsed out over time? And to buy what exactly? And second, what's up with FEMA and the flood?
Okay.
So you stand ready with
Well,
with our time as soon as we have anything.
all right, we will, we're always working on the FEMA stuff. I know Ray's diligently working on that. We're trying to figure that out, as you know, it's a moving target. Tonight we have some information on Lover's Lane. I think we're gonna make a decision there. So, you know, we're getting close to the end of that process, and then, you know, just figuring out, all right, how are we gonna parcel this out and pay for it?
I looked up in the state side, I looked up our status on the ERAF match for FEMA. And Moretown is listed for the 2024 disaster at 12.5%, but it says in process. Yes, I do not know what the holdup is on the state of.
That would bring us up to, 87.5 on that, because we're getting 75. And then we got almost 90, close to 100% on the 23. Right? Yeah, so for what we're getting, what we're doing, we're getting a lot of work done with the mitigation and just the repair, but it's still $1 million.
Yeah, sorry, there's Brian got his hand up.
Sure. Well, thanks. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Brian, if you have something to say, go ahead.
Yeah, hi all. Brian Eberhardt representing Vermont Emergency Management. On the ERAF for the July 23 floods, the governor made an across-the-board ERAF, which is the Emergency, I think, Relief Fund. I forget the exact acronym, but I know that it's 7.8% for the whole disaster across the state. FEMA's portion is 90%, so 90 plus 7.8. We have 2.2 locally that you are responsible for that disaster. So just wanted you to be aware of that because I was hearing different numbers, and that's probably the standard number, but not the current one for this disaster. So in case that helps you with your decision making.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, I don't know if you heard me, but I was talking about the 2024 floods.
I apologize. You're a little quiet over here, so I may have missed that, but I just wanted to make sure, at least for the 4720, I know that much for sure. So apologize for the July 23 flood.
Thank you.
Well, Jason, I could get in touch with maybe get into town hall with a couple other folks and run through the projects and
We
stuff.
can do that. I don't know if that should be just me or the finance.
I'm
committee.
sorry, I missed the question.
I was saying we could run through the little more detail about the project or something.
I think
the
if you have
cost
you
and stuff.
come to a meeting with a finance committee would be a good idea.
Oh, okay.
We're all interested, so that would probably
That'd be
be
good.
nice. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'd probably come with a couple other folks as well.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you taking the time.
Here,
Thank you. Oh.
yes. Thanks for that, I have Dr.
That gives me 2 minutes. You want to start?
Oh, before you're looking that up, I have just one other quick question. we decided to bond some amount, 200,000 or something. When does that process have to be? Just if we were to decide to do a bond for some amount, X amount, and have it on the ballot in November, what's the going backwards from the date that information, you have to have that so that it's, on the ballot or it's more.
To have it on the ballot,
Yeah, when is that? August? Is that September?
I can go find out right now real quick if you want to know.
Well, just let me know. I'm just curious, just so we know of time.
It changes every year because it goes by days, and I have to look to give you the
Okay,
exact
yeah,
date.
if you could, tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
Just so we can
Yep,
have a timeline if we are gonna pull this off somehow.
yeah, it got missed in the minutes, but the capital reserve fund, we decided to make a recommendation for the current year of the capital reserve.
So did you want to go ahead and, what was that, Cheryl?
We don't want to, Brett, you want to go? We'll get it done.
You have a better memory in this
Okay.
case than I do.
The finance committee also wanted to make a recommendation to pay for the turnout gear out of the capital reserve fund. And that was roughly 18,000 for the 4 sets.
Did you have any luck on that grant at all?
I've got 2 going on right now for them, so hopefully I've got to get them submitted. They're almost done, but I got the other 2 grants going on with the sidewalk too, so.
Keeping you busy, Sherilyn.
mm.
Very good. Any questions for Jason or Sherilyn or Bob? See something? Pleasure. Anything from you for the administrative side of things for these guys? Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice seeing you, Jason.
And
Good to see you.
Same here, same here. And in the current phrase, thank you for your attention to the matter.
All right, Sherilyn, you had discussion on the mailboxes.
So on the west side sidewalk, we have 6 mailboxes that need to be replaced and are not replaced, need to have a post office box. 2 of them are the Jows themselves and their tenants. One's Aaron Hunt, and there's 2 at the library. And 1 for Michelle Beard. And these are the sizes of the sidewalks and the costs,
Side of the box.
the size of the box.
Is it to the library? Next door. There's a,
No, that's what Ken said. He said there was,
the old library.
The old library.
The history center. Oh,
Yeah.
there's 2 mailboxes there?
yeah, I guess Michelle Beard has one over there.
Oh, okay.
So, was it in the discussion with folks that we were going to pay for the mailboxes, or how does that? Did we do it on this side of the sidewalk, the east side?
There was no.
Mailboxes.
Mhm.
Why do they have to, so they have to have a PO box and just slip the
There's no,
mailbox back in?
No.
So then we pay for PO box forever, or?
that's what we're here talking about tonight. The select board needs to make that decision, whether they're gonna pay for the mailbox or.
So there was always a sidewalk there. Were the boxes just added after we took that sidewalk out?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. It has something to do with the setbacks of the state of Vermont. And I know Ellie Hilferty on her mailbox over here, they're gonna be taking that down as well because they can't safely get to it because of the position of the sidewalks.
Yeah, they've told me they have a lot of trouble delivering on this side.
Yeah,
Sidewalk.
that may be coming towards the board too, possibly.
So you're looking at each box is, 150 to 100 and, call it 150. That's a small box, and medium is $198, $200.
Yeah.
I believe that's the annual cost, right?
Mhm. And Michelle Beard is on the west side sidewalk, but apparently she put her mailbox that she had after the sidewalk was completed over on the library side. I haven't looked at it, but this is what Ken's telling me.
I think there are three boxes there now. I noticed on the, just past the history building.
Yeah, because the History Center had one, the library had one, and then there's in Shopyards.
Well, first, I don't think the library needs one now, do we?
They can have their mail sent here and pick it up.
Yeah, I don't think that, well, they're not there anymore, so,
No, the mailboxes are still there. They're still getting.
no, I know, but, oh, okay, well.
Yeah,
So why don't we do that with both the history center and the in the library? Does that make sense to everyone?
So should we ask them, really? You know, an opinion, but you know,
Ray?
I mean, at this case. No, aren't you the library trustees? Sorry. Right, maybe we should just ask Corey and then.
If they use it, if there's any real.
Yeah, just make sure it's fine, but I would think it's okay.
so there's also been talk about having a spot down near the town hall for all of these mailboxes as well. Rather than paying for post office boxes. So that was brought up with Ken as well. So basically have our own little post office, but down at the town.
Well, you see that sometimes there's 4 or 5 mailboxes.
Yeah,
And people get their mail that way.
I'd like to look into that. I think that's kind of the way to go if we've got the property. I mean, otherwise you're spending, $1,000 a year on mailboxes
right.
this year.
We'll have to talk to the post office and see where they feel they could be located and then.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've known in some discussions with with Mark who delivered. It's really kind of tricky delivering on this side with the way it is right now with the mailboxes. So yeah, maybe there'd be some way of finding a spot for, like,
Yeah,
a
well,
group of
maybe the
mailboxes.
town garage, Martin, you got some room down there?
You might put it somewhere on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Or maybe it could be, on the corner here, coming out of School Street or something.
Yeah.
Where we-
Right.
I just wanted to make a comment that when we did the sidewalk on this side, we put the mailboxes in an area that was designated by the postal service. And I think that's what should happen on the other side is the postal service, instead of renting a box, they should be able to tell you where to put a mailbox. We shouldn't have to rent a box.
So
They should be
Ken,
able to tell you where to put it.
Ken has spoken to the post office already. And they said that they cannot access the mailboxes with sidewalk there.
No, that's not what he's saying, but there should be an area, whether it's on this street, School Street here, or over by the town hall, that they can designate and say, all right, these boxes can go here,
Or even by the gazebo, maybe.
or by the gazebo, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
I think that's probably a good idea. So why don't we reach out to Ken and go with that if we could.
Down at the post office.
No. Ask the post office
Mhm.
to designate an
Okay.
area of where they feel that it's
With some of the options.
acceptable.
Okay,
And yeah, maybe if you have to lead them down the path and say, well, we have this area here, or we have, down by the town hall.
okay.
Yeah, or even, right beside our mailbox out here, right?
I was gonna say, we could even do that if our mailbox is there, just add on to it.
Right, and that's probably the easiest.
I think if we're gonna do that, just a suggestion that we should offer Ellie Hilferty the same because they are definitely gonna make her takers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think both sides of the road could be, if they could do that.
Okay,
And I know the post office would like that, because like I said, it's.
Consolidate things for them
hard
and
for
be
them to deliver on that side.
All right, sounds good.
okay.
Shirley,
Mhm.
on the mailboxes now on the flood law, do you want to talk? Or is that what we heard basically, whether,
Yeah, it kind of got brought up with finding
okay,
review committee. So they're, just so everybody knows, they're extending the flood loan again for another 3 months. Until we decide either to go with Northfield Savings Bank or the bond bank, but we kind of need to wait until we have more. When we know these projects are gonna be completed and the projects that are coming up are pretty hefty and we still need those funds.
so we'll be signing off on that tonight there.
Well, just to be clear, we have funds in the bank now, we're already for these projects,
Yeah,
and we can reimburse substantially
Yeah.
more than.
basically, we have the $3 million sitting in there waiting to go for this. That's why the group gets this, yeah. There's a little more than $3 million in there, but the $3 million loan is in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good, Sherilyn. Anything else on that?
No.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We have the Brownsville Road discussion. Hey, Nolan.
Hi.
How you doing?
You all. Just wanted to thank the board as well as Martin and the rest of the road team for executing the grant that we received last year on Brownsville Road. And I don't know if you all have been on the visit, but it's night and day compared to what it used to be. Obviously, we had a long, hard winter and things settled in some spots. And I just wanted to bring that up to Martin and everyone's attention that there's a few areas that probably could use some remediation. While they executed the work on the road, the last culvert at the bottom of the road wasn't replaced. I'm not sure why that decision was made, but that culvert actually iced up over the winter time and created very hazardous passage. Myself and a few other neighbors slipped on the ice there. And incurred a little bit of vehicle damage, but I just wanted to bring that up to everyone's attention so that hopefully the road committee and Martin himself inspect and hopefully get that rectified before we have next winter be upon us pretty soon here. I also, because of the work that was done on the road, I did want to make a motion to raise that road's class from an E to an A. That way the yearly maintenance could occur to protect the town's investment. And the grant that we received on that road, having served on the class 4 road committee for the past year, the rationale for not having that road in that designation was that the grader couldn't pass up. And I saw the grader come up near my house when they did the work, so I'm sure that it would be safe passage for it. So I would like to present that to the committee. I don't know if there's a different way to do that or a separate channel, but I would like to propose that this evening.
All right. Martin, did you, why don't you, so we don't all have to holler for you, so if you want, can you pull up, Martin, your chair up this way? Are you moving, all right? So the discussion, Colin has brought up, obviously bringing that road from a 4B to a 4A. I mean, I think we need to go through the class 4 road committee to do that, Colin, but Martin, so maybe you could just give your thoughts on that, just as we preliminary as we start to discuss that.
Just not to interrupt, but the bylaws for the class 4 road committee is to be presented in the select board.
Yeah, well, I want to get the committee to listen to it and then come with us to with a recommendation.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the two grants that we'll receive, the first one was actually replacing that culvert that they're speaking of. That was the frozen one this year. It did freeze up multiple years in a row. I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, we were down there every year dealing with it. So part of that first grant was to replace that culvert and upsized it one side, but without adding a lot of cover, we couldn't go any bigger, and that's probably about the only thing that's going to help. It's the outlet is very flat, and doesn't drain well. I think there's a spring in the bank there someplace, so I think it runs almost daily when it's warm enough, and then freezes at night, so it layers. And so it was definitely a frozen culvert this year, but we hadn't had a single incident since the culvert was upside, so. But as far as that goes, I don't have much to add on that.
As far as
The B to A.
yeah,
It's an extra mile of road for us to grade, maintain, I guess it. it's gonna deteriorate rapidly. It's a clay road. It's built in a gully with nothing but clay subsoils. So I guess if the residents are willing to purchase gravel yearly, then possibly we could shape it, but there's no interest in putting any more money into that road.
It's just gonna disappear.
It's gonna disappear, the clay road.
Yeah.
It's gonna squish into the ditches and be gone. So that's where I stand on.
All right, like I said, we'll send this, this ask to the, road for committee. You guys, I mean, you can share that with them, those type of things, and then the committee come back with a recommendation on, the feasibility of doing it. And
It's a mile long, so.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
you know,
So.
Don, I know you had some interest in, you wanted, in fact, you were the first, you had asked us to, put Brownsville Road on for,
Well,
the letter that Cheryl had sent.
Well, I know that we had some correspondence about it, so I just thought, it was gonna come up that we needed to talk about it, that's all. Only to be able to just come up with a plan. I don't have a recommendation. Just like everybody here, just trying to get the information to try to see what we're gonna do, but as it stands right now, it's a class 4B. That falls under the rules of class 4B, but going forward, there's some change or something, or as you were saying, then we'd have to address it there, you know.
Was it the plowing that you were?
No, I just noticed that, I mean, I was just, I thought when we got this email about the ice and some of the problems on the road and questions about what the town's responsibility was. That was all. I was just curious to see how it was gonna sugar off, so to speak.
You know, I think there was an agreement supposedly brought up that the town would be maintaining that road to the first Brown's trailer from 1983. I don't see how the town can feel like they can honor that since they give up plowing class 4 roads since then, right? So all those agreements were made with select board members and, you know, handshake deals and stuff, but we took literal plowing of class 4 roads away for residents with just a simple, we made the decision. It was the right decision. If you can't do it for everyone, you don't do it for everyone, right? So we sent those letters. There was some uproar. I feel that we do the same thing in this instance. That agreement is null and void. It was a long time ago.
I think this is a question there, though. There's several roads within the municipality that have multiple classes on them. Is that correct?
Guess you have to explain further.
So there are many roads that have both a class 3 as well as a class 4 designation. Is that correct? Up to a certain point.
We have full class 3 and class 4. That's the same.
Okay, wonderful. And because of that, maybe this wasn't grandfathered in, but that portion of road has been maintained by the town since 1980s. You said 1983?
If there was an agreement, I did not maintain that road. Periodically, I've done some standing and grading for the grant,
Okay.
but no yearly maintenance that.
The portion that you say is being plowed is plowed by town equipment and has been since prior to the 1980s?
I have no idea. I've been there maybe 15 years, so
And during your tenure, has it been?
it's been sanded periodically.
It's been plowed.
When was it?
It's been plowed up to my Cheryl driveway
When was it last plowed?
this year.
I know.
The whole email course, I mean, like, just say, when was it plowed regularly? Because like, so I know we don't plow class 4 roads. What year did that get thrown up by the town and then hasn't been plowed? This sets a really bad, like, we have more class 4 roads and legal trails in town than we have town maintained roads, so we have to just be speaking in like. Of course, yeah.
I think you have to take into consideration that class 4 roads has changed in Moretown. Zoning has allowed development on class 4 roads. With conditional use. And, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you can't do that to every road. But Brownsville Road has had significant development above us over the past years.
And those owners know that they're building and buying on a non-maintained town road. So I understand, you have a valid point, but like, if you're doing something on a class 4 road, you know that when you start to do it.
I understand, but also there are 5 full-time residents on there. And there are 8 children who go to Moretown School. Now, I'm not saying myself personally that the whole road needs to be plowed. I think we bought equipment to do that. My husband died, but my grandson is doing it. What I'm saying myself is that we need to keep the integrity of our roads. It's not the purpose of the class 4 road policy to discontinue roads. Now, if you don't preserve the integrity of our infrastructure, you're gonna lose these roads and you're gonna lose the value of them. I agree, people who want to build where they want to build, but this happened, people who built around the quarry, when they wanted the quarry, they were already there, but that doesn't matter, that's, you know, it's the integrity of Route 100B, the Mad River Byway, everything that was gonna impact the integrity of Route 100B for the quarry, so it's not, I don't believe that you can use that for a judgment of not taking care of a road. The culvert that Jason was talking about put water very close to my cellar, my furnace, my heating system, and I understand that froze down our dumpster, so we had to get someone to move our dumpster. And I'm sure that Martin intends on doing something with that, but it was frozen. And I asked.
Or every time that it's frozen, I can guarantee you that.
I know, yeah, but I am a property owner on that road for past 3/4 of a mile. And I would not be opposed to talking with Martin about ditching on one side of the road so that you can keep the water out of the road. That's all I'm asking for. I'm just asking that the integrity of the road be kept. We've got $2.5 million worth of property up there from residents and their homes. That's a lot of tax dollars that you get. Give and take. So I understand what you're saying. If you want to build, you built there. We built there in the 1800s, our family, 5 generations. The people above us decided to move there because that's where they wanted to live. That's where they wanted to raise their families, but they shouldn't be penalized by the town not taking care of the road.
I don't think they're, yeah, I mean, I agree with most of what you said, Cheryl, but I don't agree they're being penalized because they chose to build on a class 4 road. That was a choice that they chose to make.
I would also like the road brought up to a class A. I believe it fits all the criteria for a class A. I don't know why it was put in a class B to begin with.
Right, so I think that's probably something you.
Ungradable. And now I feel
Now it's
put
gradable.
2 grants into that road. I feel we as a town decided to very generously, and now I'm trying to be strong-armed into taking care of a mile of class 4B road. Very unappreciative, I think, personally.
Martin, I'm just trying to protect our investment.
Would you move your lawn to back in the woods, Colin? Like, I'm sorry, that road was a disaster when you moved in.
I bought a house on that property, Martin. I did not build it, and the town had no mechanism for alerting me that I was purchasing a class 4 At that point in time, which we made as a recommendation to this committee when I served on the road committee, to put that on the website for the town.
Right, but,
It was not stated anywhere.
but it's like public knowledge, like V-Trans.
I don't want to be attacked because of that.
I'm not attacking you, I'm just telling you that the classes of roads are publicly available knowledge in every town in the state.
No.
They have historic maps. If you go to V-Trans road maps, they have historic maps of every single road map that's ever been produced by V-Trans for every single town in the state. It is public knowledge.
That's fair, and there should be a mechanism with the town when purchase is going on that it's alerted, and that's something we made as a recommendation. I love where I live, I love this town. I love the school that my son goes to, and I love the investment and the care that Martin and his team have put into that road. Our Moretown Selectboard has worked so hard to procure, and I think we should protect those investments. I don't see our communities are just.
10 tandem loads of material every year so that we can continue to grade it, because I can guarantee you that road is going to deteriorate rapidly.
And I am
It's a
absolutely
great
positive,
road, it's,
Martin, I'm absolutely positive it will if we don't do anything.
as am I, and I don't want to be responsible for wrecking a $500,000 grader, trying to give two houses are right off the road, 3 residences, a nice driveway, which is basically what it is, to get off the hill. You're asking everybody in town to pay for what you bought.
And so we have our neighbors down at Hog Hollow,
Same thing. They're,
class 3 road
yeah,
that's maintained by the town.
right off the river road.
Yes,
Yes, that's class 3, right to the first house.
the only house.
In class 3, we get funds from the federal government for that.
Martin, I'm not asking you to raise us to a class 3, but hey, if you want to have that discussion, you can, and we can get funds
Of
off of
course you can, but I can sit here as a road foreman and inform the select board if they're going to make an erroneous decision. You want to protect your investment, I want to protect the equipment that the town owns.
Absolutely, and the town grader came up there last year.
Of course, we just put,
And wasn't
grateful, so we came up to spread out that gravel that we put down as part of that grant procurement. It's not going to be something you're going to get every year.
I understand.
Often the gravel would be yearly. Rough estimate.
I mean, 10 loads would be,
500 a load?
yeah, it'd be $5,000 annually if you bought 10 loads, ballpark. And more, if you go on.
Bottom all the way up to the.
Not even close, not even close, but it would possibly keep up with the deterioration that's going to happen. It's clay traffic, and there's more traffic than there ever was, and it squishes right to the ditches. So pretty soon you're gonna end up with a road that is U-shaped. The water won't get off. It will just continue to erode the road.
And I mean, one of my fears, I mean, not a fear, but you know, something as our community continues to grow, there's still livable lots up there. There's other house sites, there may be more traffic eventually.
I hope not, but yeah, probably. That's not just Brownsville.
That's
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
We've done a full circle on these class 4s within 6 or 7 years from
And I
having a policy.
as a young person in this community, you know, that's where people are gonna continue to go.
It's the prices, right, I mean, it's,
But I mean, it also brings in tax dollars so that we can combat failing roads.
yeah, I think, and we've talked about it, this is certainly not the first discussion we've had of these type of things, but somewhere we've even looped in the DRB with it a little bit, or zoning. To your point first, one, people need to, if they are building, they need to be aware. And I know you didn't build, but you need to be aware that there's no services out here. But I think that we need to come up with something if we're going to do that, because ultimately, the first year people don't need services or say we won't request them, and then a couple of years later you need them. You end up you need them. We all know that. So there needs to be some mechanism to either upgrade these roads with the homeowners or something, because I mean, something needs to be done. I mean, so stay tuned. I don't think we're certainly not coming up with it tonight or the DRB or zoning anytime real soon. But I know it's something that is top of mind because it is, there's this growth. People are trying to figure out, with the new act that's going through the State House right now as well, they're kind of addressing some of that. So There's a lot to be said with that. For the immediate future, what I am going to, again, go back and recommend for the Class 4 committee to get together. So Sasha will wrangle them up for a meeting. Colin, I'm sure you, I think you're still on that, aren't you? Yeah. So you.
And at this point, honestly, we haven't met. And what's up, but.
Yeah, but it might be a good time to sit down and talk and then come to us with what you have. And, there's a lot of things to look at. I mean, you talked about a lot of things. There's a lot of cost involved. There's preserving the money that we've already invested in the road. So, there's,
To that point, I mean, we did grant work on Lynch Hill. Lynch Hill is not plowed. There are 3 school-age children on the top. There's another full-time resident on above that person. That.
right. I think right now we're just
I mean,
talking about
yeah.
maintenance on or
But
changing from B to A.
That's also a B.
Yes.
And I mean, it's the same situation and we're not doing that. And just going back, how much of Pandora's box do we want to open? Because right now it's one road. And I guarantee you, people on Lynch Hill are gonna come in. There's at least 3 full-time on Herringbrook in the Class 4B section that I'm sure would love to come in. I mean, it brings up all of that.
McGivens Road,
Setting-
Showacre Road.
It's setting the precedent.
So do we not allow people to bring their road up to A's from a B?
We do, they pay for it.
Well, right, well, that's what we're asking to do. That's all I'm asking for the road committee to do. To approve it or not, or put conditions on it. All right, we will do it, but these are the conditions of why or how we would do it. You need to commit to doing this so many times a year, and we'll commit to one grade.
It's a wormhole though.
It is a wormhole.
Never ends.
So.
And I don't mean that in any sort of negative way for anyone here who's on a Class 4 road, but it's like if we do one thing, then there'll be another thing. And that's not a negative comment directed at anybody. I don't know who here is from Brownsville Road. I know you are, sure, you comments, but it's just a wormhole. So like a lot of towns don't touch Class 4 roads at all. They do nothing. Like if I want to improve them for work, they say, okay, you can, it's on you. Hands are washed. So I just think it's a wormhole. So I feel like it's too much of a discussion for tonight, but our policy might even be too liberal.
Maybe that is, and
Right.
maybe that's the recommendation that needs to come back. Not.
So I'm out of curiosity, would there be a different tax rate for like a private road or a road that's completely?
It's not a different tax rate, it's how your home is valued, so it gets kind of complicated, but if you reached out to the appraising company in Emmerich, like if you get your Lister card, your house, there's more specifically like your house site and your land grade, right? Because it's that multiplier. So like if you live further out or on a road without services, your multiplier would be lower. So it wouldn't be a 1.0 or above a 1, right? It maybe be like a 0.8 or 0.6 or something like that. So like your house, it's not removing your equity because it's all relative to what you paid. Like you would pay a lower price versus a house that's on pavement, right? So it's all relative.
Purely amount of money that I would be the rate that I would either down and take the same.
No, it'd be less, because it's like, yeah, it's the same per thousand, but like, okay, say you have a house and I have a house and they're identical. Okay, but mine's on pavement and yours is a mile up Brownsville Road. You're gonna pay less taxes than I am because your house will be valued lower. Because you have like fewer access to services, it's based, I mean, an appraiser can really explain it to you better than I can. But it's based on like the site, if there's a view, access to services, all these different things. So like you would be paying less taxes than someone else would with an exact duplicate of a house, but on the state
Class
highway,
3.
town maintained road.
So the simple answer is no, the town rate doesn't change.
The tax rate does not change, but your value changes.
Thank you, Mike. Pardon?
Yeah, so, right, look, I don't feel I'm attacking you, Paul. I have no issues with you asking. But I could have anointed those funds for a different class 4 road, and then I could be dealing with those people from that class 4B road in the next meeting, asking me to protect the fund there at the same time, like, so I feel like we generously upgraded that road immense. It is going to be next to impossible without some real substantial funds to keep it in the shape that it is as of today. Which is quite significantly better than 5 years ago, or however.
Is that because it's a steep slope and
The base, it's the clay base, and the water, there's immense water. It's just clay, it's just going to squish into the ditches, and like, you'd be up there every 3 to 5 years ditching it. It'd do you no good to put gravel down when the water can't stay in the ditch. It's just gonna squeegee into the ditches, fill them up, and we have class 3s that are similar. They're a nightmare to take care of, but they're class 3. We have class 4As that are similar, but I wasn't the only one designated class 4A and B designations, but part of the factor is going to be the mile of road, like that is a significant amount of road to take care of. And very slippery slope if you're gonna use tax values and stuff. Somebody could go into the middle of Hog Hollow Road, build a $5 million home, and then say, well, fuck, you know, you're getting tax rate from them. So, like,
Right.
what are the criteria?
With the legal trails.
I think the criteria is set up by the class 4 road maintenance policy. And I think when that road was brought up to being safe for town equipment, it moved it to an A.
Which it was generously done with $2 grand.
But at this point, Cheryl, it's not, and what Marty's saying, it's not.
Very, like, I could probably get it graded this spring. Like, without doing, but no way am I gonna trap myself into 3 to 5 years down the road to maintain that road. It would,
Everybody's asking you to do that.
it's not gonna make it an A.
What I want to see though, actually, is, like I said, let's push this, sorry about pushing something, but push it to the road committee. I think the road committee should come back with a recommendation. And I mean, you got to be there and talk about the real limitations of what we have and what we can do. Right, and things have now since changed, I think.
By generosity of.
Right.
Mark, I'm sorry that you say generosity. I helped fill out the grant paperwork specifically for that project. I mean, I know that it's very generous that we selected that as well as another project within the town, but we have this, as a member of this community, directly involved in applying for the funds. And we might not go back that grant. We may not have gotten those funds. We haven't been able to really sell, that road. And I believe, was it Lynn Cheryl that received some other?
There was, the original grant was one shell. Correct.
So, but I can't express enough gratitude to what you and your team have done. It's night and day. It really is. And I just would love to see it stay that way.
Was that a class 4 road grant or?
I would have to look at the exact name of the grant for you, Cheryl. I can send it to you.
Or was that part of our road maintenance estate runoff thing? Is that
No,
what that
no.
was? Part of PG or?
I'd go to erosion grant for the state.
All right, is there anything else?
Do the residents do the residents do any work on that road? Do you do any work?
Yeah, do you guys buy gravel annually or who wrote it?
We have for 50 years. Absolutely done.
Yeah. Well, further up the road,
Yeah.
are the folks taking care of the road?
We took care of a part of the road that our property is on. We did not take care of the upper part of the road. We kept that road passable for our vehicles, for our farm equipment. Ditched it with the excavator. We have for 50
Yeah,
years.
I was just wondering beyond
I think
you.
your father.
There was some work that was completed, at the new residence that was put in, there was some ditching that was done. I wasn't part of that project, so I couldn't speak to it. They're not present.
But it is not like annual stuff that's going on at your end of the road.
You know,
Like every year you buy $3,000 worth of gravel and spread it.
That's, you know, we have to discuss.
Just kind of ask that question, if there is something that, you know, you said that you'll have a budget as to like what you'd actually need to be spending to make that a passable thing. Could be for all class 4 roads, because when we purchased our property, there were people maintaining that road up there. They then moved, we couldn't handle it, so we don't have a full-time residents up there for that reason. So
Right, and I wasn't suggesting that, like, I'm just curious, I'm not suggesting that, like, because you've done it, then the town should do it, I'm just curious.
yeah, I think anyone who lives on a class 4 road, if we are all serious about keeping our roads safe and actually passable, we all together have to have a group. And maybe we put funds towards the road where everyone needs to be able to, you know.
Or,
Contribute to that.
I mean, it's hard because there's, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, if you have any more to say, you can.
Just wanted to say, it'd be nice to know what. A rough estimate, I don't know, a finance person, I just like the numbers, you know, if that's something that like it doesn't have to deal with, we'll share with amongst people who live on the road. Then I'm all for putting money for that, it's just we don't have the equipment. And we just don't have the time to do that at this point.
Right.
So I would echo that if Martin thinks it needs, you know, 10 loads of gravel every 3 years, you know, as a community, we could come up and maybe the town can pitch it a little bit and we'd be happy to purchase material if that's, you know,
It's just the black boxes of what much things are gonna cost.
Right, I mean, it's also like if you guys
there's
hire,
equipment too.
yeah, I mean, if you guys like, yeah, I mean, any like professional excavation company will also like tell you what you need, you know, I mean, it's always been, if you're on a class 4 road, it's like, there's sections of class 4 road in town, like the only person that picks it up is like a forestry or logging company when they want to work in it, you know, and that's just what they know. It's like, they fix it, they use it and they leave, and then when they come back, they have to fix it. So.
I just asked a question, you're correct, is this 4/8 will be something you need to work on, because having seen and read the paragraph said that there was no 4/8 will be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's in a lot of municipalities, but especially this one.
There's also legal trails too.
Yeah, I know I heard.
It's a lot. All right, so we'll get that convened, we'll get some information back from the Road 4 committee. Some recommendations, if we have to revise that policy, we'll do that. Or if there's ways, because I also don't want to discourage people from upgrading their roads. If they want to put the money into it and upgrade the roads, I mean, that's a good thing for all of us, because you know, it brings their value up, brings the grand list up, and then, you know, maybe other people will build down the road from them and again, but so I don't want to discourage investment in these are the road, but we need to figure out a way so they know what they need. And as Mike said, I mean, private contractors can do that. But maybe as a town, we can maybe look at that as well. As maybe as recommendations from the road commissioner as a start. Sure. And what was your name, miss? I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Okay, thank you. Sure. Yeah, I thought I knew that, but I didn't know who you were.
Somebody, a contractor who might do the road, is there a process that we have to get that in the hay by you guys first? So that's now a blocker.
It's not a blocker, it's just a road, it's a permit.
You have to have a right of way permit. I mean, you have to have a right of way permit to plow the road. Every year. There should be a right of way permit. It's in the class 4 road policy to be plowed. Any maintenance on the road, which includes any private plowing, anything like that, there needs to be a right of way permit.
There's no, you know, there's no cost.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, and they
It's just so that we know who's
do what.
doing what, just in case there's any issues with the road, we can pinpoint that.
Very good.
You sure that, are you settled with the agreement being thrown out that was?
I feel it should be, I don't.
Nothing like, but I'm sorry, I didn't make my sure.
Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, the motion was made back in 1983, so until there's another motion by the select board to discontinue that level of service that doesn't
I'm sorry, Cheryl, but I do not, I know I have personal backup to the house and sanded down. If it's been taken care of, it would have been the driver's discretion to do so, not a requirement of his job.
It was a requirement by the select board in 1983, so until a motion
Very
is.
seldom has that been plowed by the town. I'm not saying never, I'm saying not on a regular basis. That I know for a fact.
Do you have that route?
Yeah, it's the route is driving right by Brownville. And then right back on. I myself have backed up Brownville and sanded it when it's super icy,
And that's very much appreciated.
but not as a requirement of that agreement.
Sure it is.
No, it wasn't. The guarantee of that, I was trying to be decent. Is what I was trying to be, but.
All right, so, we have that, agreement. I think everyone has copies of that.
Yeah.
So, this was 11/7/83. It's a little hard to read, so I'm just gonna try to read it here. Nancy Brown, and is that your mother? Nancy, Cheryl, is that your mother? Yeah. Nancy Brown came in seeking approval to have her road plowed to Gary Brown's trailer. The board explained its policy concerning work on class 4 roads and said that based on its knowledge, her road should not be town maintained. But the board stated that it would change its policy, increasing increasing the road if Miss Brown could show evidence of it had been maintained on a regular basis just prior to 1973. Is there anything else in here that?
Yes, that's the. And then, you know, the
Yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to see it.
December 5th of 1983, the board received Nancy Brown, who was in again seeking approval to pass the road plow. She presented information that the roads were serviced regularly from 1969 to 1974. The board agreed to plow the road in the winter and maintain it in summer to the degree that it will be plowable in the winter.
So she's coming in 83. It hadn't been done for 10 years. Or it had been done from 64 to 74. Is that what I'm getting out of that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, not done for 9 years, it was 10 years. Yeah, I don't know, I think. When did the town send out? Quick, when the town's blanket say they're not plowing town roads, you must know, Cheryl. What year was that? Approximately. What year was it that the town put a blanket and said we're not plowing class 4 roads? What year was that approximately?
Well, I think I got it on my phone, it was revised 7413, the class 4 road policy.
2013?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember at the time there was soapstone. Wasn't that one that Ray, I think you were on the
Yeah, there
board.
was a lot of those roads, private roads, that we took on.
Yeah, that was.
We were plowing
Right.
private roads at that time.
So,
Several are Route 2.
So it's the only private road,
Right.
the rest of them are class.
Or class 4s, all right. Well, the other ones, do you remember?
McGill, Slacky, Hops, Slacky and Hops.
And see Murphy Road, something,
Yeah. So all those. So
7 of them.
were there agreements with those folks at one point as well?
They had to at some point in an agreement to get them plowed, I would assume, but I don't know. I think that's how it was done. Kind of back in the day is come in and make a handshake agreement with the select board
And so in 2013, why didn't we address this one? Do you know why?
No, it was like it wasn't being plowed then, I mean, that would have, whatever that policy is, would have superseded this essentially. Right, it would have gone over it, so like, okay, if there was this agreement, and then did it get plowed until 2013, Cheryl, or did it get plowed a lot shorter amount of time?
It's plowed to currently last year, and they back up the road, they sand it, and they plow down it.
Right, but not every single time they plow, like,
Well, it depends on if we get to it first with our snow blower.
right, but so, but
It
what,
would if we did not get to it first with the snow blower trying to help out.
I've never asked any of my employees to plow that road as part of this agreement.
right, but so my point is, I don't know if we need to make a motion because, okay, the select board agreed to this 43 years ago. In 2013, I don't have the policy in front of me, you do, there's a policy made that we're not plowing class 4 roads. So without seeing that policy, it seems that that policy would override this agreement from 43 years ago.
Just like it did the other 6 or 7.
Right.
Cheryl?
Last time that all of our rooms were actually, looked at and, like we said, we got, alcohol. And I hear Martin saying that we got state funding for that because it's a class 3. What is it, are we getting, how much money are we getting from the state? Just to have that one section and not truck going down there and plowing it? I mean, that's just one road. I'm not just picking on, I'm not picking on any, I'm just saying, has we really looked at our roads? I mean, Mark can see them every day. No, he looks at them, but
2011, the state
really been studied.
Evaluated for what?
And in 2011, with CBRPC and Stuart Bradfield was the foreman. Big classified.
I couldn't speak to that. I don't know why. I just.
But, yeah, I think,
Well, 2011, I think I said.
well, you weren't the foreman.
There's quite a few roads that really are just driveways, basically.
I have to remind you, we built a whole bridge for one restaurant. We got a whole bridge.
Fully aware.
And that's a class 3 road.
That's right.
It's a big difference when you try to declassify from 3 to 4. Than from a trail to 4, to 4A or B. We're talking about major policy forms. Or major chain events that have to happen to do that.
I believe the only thing that's being asked for here is since the equipment got up there to do the grant, that it appears that like, it's not gonna hurt the equipment to maintain the road once a year.
Possibly for this 1 year.
And I believe the only thing that's being asked for here is to bump it up from a B to an A because improvements have been.
But then based on that,
Since 2013.
but then you have to bring that up to the committee based on what the bylaws are, so.
That's the board who makes the decisions.
Well, no, the committee would make a recommendation to the board and the
Exactly.
board would decide if they wanted to act on it. Yeah,
I understand.
yeah, I know, but so like, yeah, that would need to come out, go to the class 4 road committee, whenever it would reconvene.
I believe it is, that's all it's being asked. It's not gonna cost a whole lot of money, like we gravel every year. I mean,
It's gonna cost a lot of money.
But that's, guys, all right, let's,
The residents should make.
right, and so that's, we're gonna stop this now. This has been a good discussion, but we need to move on. So it's gonna go to the class 4 road committee. Whether it's money or not, you're gonna come up with a recommendation, or not you, but the committee, the board. And then also we need, as a board, to make a decision. And we don't need to do it tonight, but we need to, unless we want to. As far as this agreement here, I mean, although what you say, Mike, makes sense, as far as that board policy change kind of superseded all
Right. Hey, Tom, just as a point of clarification.
Sure.
Within the class 4 road committee bylaws, it does state that it goes to the advisors group, which is made up of 1 select board member, the road foreman, 2 members of the class 4 committee. So I don't think the whole committees convening for one road, because as we've seen, many road committee will come in here and petition, so.
Right, but I think we want to just have it, what I would like to see is take an overall just evaluation of the class 4 road policy as it stands. Maybe there's, I think well, it's probably a good idea to do it on an annual basis, take a look at it, and there may be nothing to look at. But, if we're starting to make any other policies, I mean, I think you make policy for one road, really is going to go across for everything.
See, the one person, the class 4, we're supposed to be elected to the introduction of that proposal.
I don't think we've,
Anything else pointed, because of, well, the road committee, it wasn't a meeting, right, because.
Yeah, it was voted on.
But I think the policy was adopted, so there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be policy was adopted, so yeah, I don't know who we did it for that.
Okay, so.
Is that you, Callie?
Yeah, I think it was Callie, wasn't it? Yeah. Wasn't it you? Yeah, you were. As a
Okay,
board
I
member.
hadn't seen that document.
Something else was there
Maybe
too.
it is.
What?
I mean, it doesn't, we can appoint someone to,
Wonderful, just wondering what the point of contact will be. Thank you.
yeah, you'll know. We'll make sure that the committee knows who the point of contact is.
All right, and then we will also,
I just want to thank you for your time and listening.
you're welcome.
We're all in the same boat.
All right, well, let's, go ahead and move on. We'll table the discussion on the Brownsville. All right with everyone?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, Ray. We have you up with Lover's Lane.
Okay.
That was it. We probably say this there at all. Yeah, I did.
Here, Mark, you want to leave? But you'll hear about it.
I can be the others and then you all can do. I'm already the vice chair of the committee, so.
Yeah.
I think that-
That's. the-
I don't want.
Just to follow up, I think we do have a few people from FEMA still with us.
Hey, Brian, thank you for, Miranda, thank you for seeing democracy in action here.
I want to clear that up, they're not FEMA, they're Vermont Emergency Management.
Right.
Personnel, not FEMA. So, but there are people that I have been working with extensively regarding this, part of the team. So at the last meeting, I gave an update that things are really moving forward now on Lover's Lane. And that we really need to go forward with a decision on how we want to proceed. So I reviewed this quite extensively. And I earlier today sent out this project recommendation. And so at this point, I think that going forward, the best step for the town would be to work on reconstructing the road to where it was before the events. Some of the driving reasons behind that was the cost for rehabbing the road or bringing it back up, or reconditioning, however you want to say it, will be fully, not fully funded, but eligible for funding, like it would a normal project that we've been working on, which would be around 97.8% funded with the state should. And that will cover whatever the cost is, as long as we document it and stay within their scope of work. Okay. The bridge alternative, we would get funding, but it'd be almost like a fixed maximum amount, just over 2.4 million. Which may or may not work. We don't have, that we've had engineers' estimates, we've had contractors' estimates, but what we don't have is a hydraulic study for a bridge design. And without those two documents, our estimate is an estimate, you know, and we cannot, I don't think go forward was gonna not, we can't go forward without having more information. And to get that information on the bridge is cost money and time that I feel like we need to go forward and get this road fixed now. And if we want to do the bridge, that would be another topic entirely.
Could get a company to sign a contract just to do it flat for that 2.4.
Yeah. It just,
So how, was there any mitigation? I know we had talked about mitigation money as well.
so on top of the, if we do the road work, there's no mitigation if we do the bridge work. Well, okay. Once we decide on the work, we have the 2.4 million right now, roughly. It hasn't been released yet. That is to restore the road to pre-disaster condition. They will allow us, with the proper engineering, and approval, they would allow up to another 2.4 million for mitigation work. But that mitigation work is pretty much limited to what has been within the area that has been damaged by the event. In other words, we can't rebuild the whole road. We have to pretty much stay in the damaged area with that. You know, but we may be able to move the road over away from the river a little bit, and the approaches, you know, it may be a little bit of work there, but as far as reconstructing the whole road, we can't do that with this funding. But we can build a darn good road with this money. But there's still gonna be areas of the road that are gonna be, probably subject to being damaged by a flood at some point.
I think if they're out of, that would be eligible for another project if it's out of that scope, right?
If there was an event that FEMA would declare an event, then they would be eligible. So, what I'm asking the board, you know, to go forward with the road reconstruction, so we can start going forward with getting engineering and
Right.
project going.
Well, I think certainly I think we were kind of hoping for the bridge, just because I think safety wise, I think it made more sense. But there's also funding. Recently, we just the grant funding that we used for the sidewalk on the north side of sidewalk, it was for safety. So something like that, those are available for like the bridge in the future if we decided we wanted to go down that route. But based on what you're saying, Ray, I think, and I appreciate what FEMA and what they're doing. You know, unfortunately, I wish that mitigation was allowing us to do other spots on the road, but in the state, thank you as well for all the hard work you guys have put on this. But I think I would go ahead with Ray's recommendation. We move forward on the road and mitigation work on Lovers Lane.
If it slumps again. I'm not, I'm just curious, like, so we fix it, and it does seem to make no sense, and then it slumps again. Then we go back to FEMA and say, we did what you said, and. I'm just curious, you know?
It's like any other project, you know, we build it, there's a warranty period. There probably are gonna be areas outside of doing work that are gonna slump again. I truly believe that when we get done where we're working, it won't slump.
Well, that's all we can ask, right? And we could ask for a lot more. We're not going to get it.
I don't know, Mark, have you?
Long enough, I guess, but. So that would. You know, you can probably repair that slope and get it. And we just go 50 yards down and hope that it's FEMA triggering amount, flood, right? So that Winooski River has been moved in, as I'm sure the residents know, that Winooski River has crowded that road immensely in 12, 15 years. It just keeps moving into Lover's Lane. It's used to be on the other side, but now there's an island and coming on this side of that gravel turn.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think fine, as it's.
Oh, Ryan, I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah, good questions. So if you do this project and it does get damaged again in a declared disaster, it could happen in a normal event or a different event, but if it's a declared disaster by the president, then it would be qualified for going through this again. Not that you want to, and hopefully you're in a better position, at least on this particular aspect. As far as hazard mitigation and the scope, I think there's going to be some level of flexibility, but I ultimately agree. I wouldn't expect to get a brand new road or the whole road to be mitigated. So I just wanted to highlight that. The other thing that I'll say is that during the engineering and design, you proceed forward and different solutions come up. They'll be explored along the way, but you can version and refine your final strategy through the engineering process. So, you might right now think you're going to do this, and then with the engineering, it comes back and it changes over time. That's a possibility that we can also support you with. So just wanted to highlight that we don't have final plans, but preliminary ones are going to be approved and move forward unless you change directions. So, and technically, just so everyone's aware, if for some reason along the way, you ultimately do decide to do the bridge, it's not too late if you go down this route right now. It's basically until you get to the construction stage, you're on that course. And if it's in good faith, but something changes, it's not impossible. You might have trouble getting a time extension from FEMA under that circumstance, but it's not impossible. So if you were to continue to study the bridge or get better cost estimates between now and that, not impossible, not necessarily ideal, but just wanted you to be aware of that back option.
Thank you, Brent. Miranda, did you have anything you want to share at all, or?
I don't. I think Brian covered it really well, the options for the town. So nothing from my end. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for attending tonight. Kelly, did you have any questions or thoughts?
I mean, the only thing I worry about with this is getting into doing work on that road and all of a sudden the price increases drastically. Is FEMA actually gonna say, oh yeah, give you an extra $500,000 for that? Or, because I mean, knowing how FEMA works and all the difficulties.
Yeah, eligible through a version. This project will be based on actuals. It's not there's a threshold of $1 million where something would be considered small project, and if you've gotten a number and if you went above that number, you're kind of stuck with it. But this is a large project in FEMA's eyes, over $1 million, so it's based on actuals. So as long as that scope and cost is reasonable and eligible, you're not adding additional scope beyond the scope of work. Technically it is on actuals. So not every program in FEMA is this way, but this project would be eligible for that.
And I've actually found FEMA to be pretty fair working with us, right? I mean,
Yeah, but really great working with us.
yeah, it seems like we're getting our money. It took a while to get it or to start, but once it started flowing, it's flowed, and a lot of it's, I think we have to do our work. And I think there's a lot of frustration in towns because they don't have work getting done or not, but knock on wood, we've been lucky. The harder we work, the luckier we get, right? Don, what are your thoughts?
I agree with, this is what I've been thinking of last week, basically, what Ray has recommended. We should stick with what we've got and fix the roads and use the funding that we have for fixing the road. And
kind of the short things, right?
We just start getting it done. It's, get the work done. And I did reach out to Sam. I know he's not here tonight, but and he voiced the same opinion that stick with fixing the road, not larger bridge. Really. And there's where you even put so many good bridges down the road sometimes.
Great. Mike, are you of the same opinion?
Yeah. I think it
Or any
makes the
thoughts?
most- I think it makes the most sense from a timeline perspective and knowing the cost, right, like Ray saying, we don't know, we don't have enough actual numbers on the bridge. And it would start this year. So.
All right, so I'll go ahead, I'll make a motion, project, I move to go ahead with project 747156, the Lovers Lane. And go ahead with the reconstruction of the Lovers Lane, road.
I'll second that.
Johnny seconds that, any further discussion on it? Seeing none, all in favor, vote aye. Aye. Any opposed, any hearing? All right, so that's it. Brian, yeah,
Thanks for all your hard work.
thank you. Yeah, right, thank you.
And mine.
Yeah, guys, miss, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on.
We don't have a call.
Oh, shoot, yeah, thanks, Brad. So we had a culvert discussion here.
Okay, so, last Monday, we had a bid opening. There's, 2 culverts. And both on Jones Brook. And, we have. We advertised it, to Vermont Business Industry. We had 34 people that asked for plans. And we had, I believe, 11 bidders on the project. And a couple of those bidders, and I think I left the tab here, a couple of bidders, or at least one of them made a mistake on the bid and we threw it out. But the bottom line is, Avery was a little bit for the culverts at $160,294. The second bidder was Goodhue at $183,648. And the third bidder was McDonald. Jay McDonald was at $284,15.
What was that?
$208,450. So, and this tab was put together by Pat Ross Engineering.
Okay.
The bids were, the plans and the tab, everything put together by them. And, Pat has recommended that we go ahead with Avery.
That's Jones Brook, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I just want to make sure it's here on the our agenda to go on that. Can I see that right, just so I can? A lot of names I don't even recognize, huh?
There was some contractors, I didn't even recognize.
Are they all from Vermont?
I think so. There might have been one from New Hampshire, but there was a lot of people that asked for plans that were outside of Vermont, but most of them, I think the bidders are.
It's, I mean, we've never got this kind of response in the past.
That's why we're trying to get as many people to work out the bid as possible right now, because it seems like a lot of contractors are looking for it. I think they're fortunate that, that Avery's got the bid loan.
Yeah, and are you comfortable with that? Because that's $40,000 less than the next closest,
20,000.
or 20,000, isn't that one?
I do have a lot of confidence in him. He's done a lot of work for the town. And I think, to my knowledge, all the projects he's done have worked out well. Any problems that we've had, he's fixed them, to my knowledge. There are some projects that are still under warranty, particularly on the seeding part of it. I think he's followed up on his work, and I think generally Martin's been happy with him.
Very easy to work with.
He's like, when you call him, he's available. So.
No, I'm good with that. I just wanted to ask those questions to be sure out too. Kelly, you have any thoughts or questions at all for Ray on this?
No, No, I just know there's been a lot of contractors bidding. Our last
For you as
bid
well.
that we did, I mean, our conference room was packed. The parking lot was full of people coming in to bid on projects, so.
What was drying up.
Yeah.
Don't get cut if we, till Wednesday.
All right,
Looking for a motion to update it.
so I move to accept the Avery bid for $139,514. For engineered culverts, 20.18. And,
I think it was on it.
Yeah, I think it's 160,
Yeah, it's two.
well, pardon me, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't see the 160,294. That's where I was getting the 40,000 difference. That wasn't.
And that is for two culvert.
Yes.
It's like 2018 and 2011. Yeah. Is there a second? Mike Brown seconds. Any other discussion on it? All right, all in favor, vote aye. Aye.
So, I just wanted to update you on, we had talked about that culvert last week, North, 17, 17, I think it is. So we're gonna put that off for bid and see where.
That was the one at the top of the hill, right?
Yeah, no, that's one.
The other middle, okay, the middle, yeah.
Down by just below grade, so
Yep.
we're gonna put that off for bid and then.
Now, I'm much more comfortable doing that and make sure it follows the FEMA guidelines. And based on what we're seeing, Avery would probably get it anyways, right?
We've been working hard to get there's a covered up on Sheila Getzinger's that they're very close to getting final plans on that. So we can go forward with that cover. Which reminds me, Mark, at some point, when you're available, we, Pat and myself, would like to go up there to just review that and with Sheila, because we are changing things a little bit up there. So I think it's towards the end of the week, so I'll give you a call. Okay. Things are progressing.
It's my land on the downstream side of the culvert, but I don't really care what you guys do, so. Yeah, I can come to the meeting, but it's fine to do.
Yeah, well, this would probably do the sign off on the.
All the water that you deposit on is turning into a marsh. All right, so I think that's, is that all you have, Ray?
That's all. Thank you very much.
All right.
Right, let's thank you.
Good. Yeah.
No, you
I'll keep them in line.
put it all together there, all this road and all this stuff,
There's been a lot of it.
I'll tell you.
But we're doing well. I think we're doing well. That's what kind of, as you mentioned earlier, FEMA, in spite of what you hear, FEMA worked really well with us on this.
Yeah, no, I think so. And again, if being organized and being able to present everything they want, it's their game, so you need to be able to do what they want. And sometimes it seems ridiculous, but that's kind of what we do.
Well, but that's July 10th. Let's not have another July 10th. I mean, the one last year, 2025, was mainly in the Northeast Kingdom, but it's still raining here.
Yeah. Martin, we've seen with this mitigation work has seemed to work, right? I mean, it's
just basically been, most of it's just basically been implemented, so yeah, we haven't had any catastrophes, so.
Yeah.
We did a lot of mitigation as we were moving forward, but this is the big stuff, right?
Yeah, no, I think most culverts have been upsized, right?
Even the smaller roads can be upsetting.
Yeah, so I think. All right. Are you good with everything? I'm not good with everything, but.
Well, yeah, yes, so.
Well, I think with the road fork committee stuff, I do think that the road fork committee just needs to get together and reassess that policy. And if there's a way that, people can upgrade their roads, let's outline it for them. And it doesn't mean that we are going to do the work or we'll do the work. But I think we need to give them an outlet if they want.
Yeah, no. Not me too, but I do agree.
And it should have a homeowners association or something. It should be 7 people, and this is what we gotta do, you know, we bought on this road and we gotta figure.
We have one grader for like the class fours that we do, we're like 42 miles, 40 miles of road. And we're trying to schedule, but we can't schedule when it's ideal grading for every road, so you have to take chances and we get it wrong sometimes. We grade right before and it rains, or would loved if we graded today because it wasn't the forecast that was predicted. It hasn't been, weather's not been very reliable, but we had literally not enough time to get around to take care of our 2s and 3s.
Well, I think again, that's the type of stuff that you gotta share with the class 4 road with the committee. And so that there's justifications. I mean, because we just don't want to say, well, we're just not doing it because we don't want to, but all right, this is, and if we're going to do that, then we have to buy another grader or things like that. And then we can't afford, so it's, and I think Mike made the comment, we may be too generous.
I mean, most towns don't, the Cali said this too, most towns do nothing, like absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
Berlin does nothing. I mean, I cannot get from my house to Route 12 because
Right. and
that
it's
is a
short
class
little
4 section of road and they don't touch that.
Daily bike.
Simplify that greatly.
Yeah, I mean,
I've tried to bike that Cali and it's tough.
so,
So,
I mean,
I just wanted to say, but I just think we should be cautious. It's about, say, going up there, tell them they need 10 loads of gravel because
Yeah.
once you say that, if it goes over, right?
Yeah.
If it takes 20 loads, they're gonna say, well, you said it only would take 10.
That's why I try to make the point to them that there's private companies
The
that
private
can
company,
do that for them and.
we can say to meet class 3 standards, you have to have 18 inches of gravel. And so we know what those standards are, but I don't.
I think that's what I'd rather see is this is the standard that you need to meet.
Yes.
Not that you're gonna need 8 loads, you need to put 10 loads a year in. This is the standard that we're looking for.
Yeah.
An 18-inch base or whatever it happens to be for 3s. If you want to bring it up to from a B to an A or maybe even 4, period, to us be on it, it needs to be brought up to.
But we had there were 2 different apps from the road. The Browns were asking for it to be plowed. He was asking for it to be a class 4A.
Right.
So.
Well, I think the
What?
the plowing, as I said, I think we'll just make a ruling on that. I think based on the information that we have. I mean, I think if we knew back in 2013 that it was, we had no idea. I mean, they get the letter like everyone else did.
That's kind of my point, is that it's by and now they're expecting that to have weight, I guess, or something. It just shouldn't, unless you're gonna revisit all those other. That we like. So.
And I'd like to just correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember when we were talking about some people who branched out and gone on the legal trails. And can remember telling people, if you're gonna live out there, you need to fix the road up to make it passable, 911 accessible or whatever, with the town, that's it, we're not, some of these people, the homeowners got together and they worked on it together. It wasn't a town, we didn't do it, they had to have a homeowners association and chip in and do it. I thought isn't that sort of what happened?
I think that's, about everywhere. I think some of the past owners have literally lied to the people buying the property and said that the town maintains it.
Yeah.
I've received a call at the shop.
Well, I remember it's not me.
Snowstorm in way back when, like 10 years ago, and they were wondering when we were gonna plow their legal trail. And I was like, we don't. And I said, oh, well, homeowner said that the town took care of the road and stuff, so. I explained to them that, no, we don't, we never have.
Well, and that's, I think, part of with Colin, because I remember, I can't remember who owned that up there before, but yes, Diego's, they would come in and they would purchase loads and they would come into a select board meeting and request us they would bring the loads up, they would get dumped.
Tractor and he would work the road himself and
Yeah.
Technically, there's been a ton of work done on class fours without the work in the right of way permit. I come across it after the fact. Unfortunately, I'm not around it. But if I found somebody doing something detrimental to the road, then obviously we'd have to follow up, but they live on the road and they're looking to try to improve it. As long as they're not harming it, I really have no issues with it.
And I don't know when you did your grant work, but the last time I was up, Brownsville was in July. And I mean, most of the way up, and it was bounce your head off the roof of the truck if you were going too fast. I mean, it was not. I mean, I came down and remember being like,
We worked in sections of.
not looking this.
Still put the grader in there for sections we didn't work on. The grader was up there simply because we spread gravel with our tandems and we smoothed out the gravel that we spread, not to work the whole road.
I know. That's why we just need that, maybe a tighter policy, and if we need one or two people wants to be on that committee, that's fine. I think we need it and to probably tighten that up a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as the second request or the plowing, I think what we should do is Sasha, if you can go back and find the correspondence that we sent out, I guess it was in 13 to the other folks that we just continued, we'll just use that same language and whatever is there, and this, was just over missed or was missed at that point, and it's just policy. It's kind of, they're our friends, they're our workers, but it needs to be.
Or if they got one, we should just send it again.
Right. They probably didn't, because, but if they did, right, resend it.
Yeah.
But, and if not, we can do whatever we did with them. I think, I can't remember whether it was a year or whatever we did, but again,
Yeah. With that fall, making some letters like summer and fall, so this would be the last year.
Yeah, right.
So
let's find that, Sasha, and go from there, and we'll have it at the next meeting. We can talk about it. You guys, how did things go today?
Not
good. Not good. All right, well, why don't we talk in the morning?
Yeah. 2018, I've got disability sending emails. I'm not here late for what you guys here.
One of your those big bills that we've had, maybe talking to them about using some of the weakness reserve.
Yes.
This will need a motion from them.
Yeah.
Don't have all the bills in front of you. Like the nice meetings.
Yeah, we can make those, don't worry about it tonight.
Yeah, anyway, we spent about 12 and 13 grand on that, 2018 in the last month and a half, and it's still, second board transmission today. We were able to get it repaired and thought and get it back to the shop. Every line on the truck is rusting. We've placed 3 hydraulic hoses, and then this transmission hose makes the 4th hose since, end of winter, that literally is rusted around the crimp of the hose, and then it just blows off the fitting. The truck spent 2 years. A couple of years ago, I went to Clark's for the motor issues. They tore the head off it and couldn't get parts. Sat there for 6 months from March on, never got like a spring cleaning like we typically do on all the trucks. So it just sat there and rusted and rusted and rusted. Of course, we got it back. We cleaned it up best we could. Went back up the following year and then sat there again for a DPF that they couldn't get. And it decimated that truck as far as that stuff goes. And we undercoat, every year we wash and undercoat. It's just that truck, I think, for the route that it had, which is from here to Cobb Hill, back up 100, it's always in salt. And it just didn't get cleaned like it would have had we, had that stay together for us. So it's not good. We also have to, it's way deeper, but anyways, if we wait till 2027, depending on when the truck comes in, the truck will be with the new federal mandated emissions, brand new package. So we'll have a guinea pig, basically. And the two dealers I talked to here the last couple of days they don't know what it's gonna cost because they're still building this stuff. Anywhere from 10 to 30 grand more for that truck. So gonna do some digging, like dealer I talked to today, won't hold it pending voter approval. That was my ideal scenario. Order it. We get it fourth quarter, December, basically. And if they were willing to hold it till voter approval, not willing to do that. He said that they can schedule it so it would come in late December, but that's about it. And then have to pay for a cab and chassis, which I understand we don't have the money. So, right. So it's not a good situation, but.
So you're thinking just getting the.
I don't really know. I wanted to see what the options were about. If there's any way we can make it, work, whether it was capital reserve money to just a cab and chassis. So we're talking,
Move the body, one, and keep the body, I mean.
No, it would be a new bill, but that's the reason we did order the truck is because we couldn't get in to get the bill made.
Yeah, sorry.
Which makes sense, but now so continue to piecemeal it together. So we're looking at like 275. There'll be a trade. Nobody really wants that truck. I'd probably at this point keep the 2015 again for the spare.
The bad one, yeah.
Just something better. But and then later down the road, there's the whole topic of getting back in the cycle with the finance committee and stuff with my Mac is a 2015 and Western Stars 2025. Even if we get this truck, it'll be a 2027, it'll be 9 years for Stephens. Like the proof is in the pudding. We're keeping them, we're supposed to be 8 years. We're at 10. That's nobody's fault. That was, we thought it was going to go to truck builds. The last two, the 2021, 2018 were both pre-built when we bought them. And then COVID hit.
Are there any pre-builds floating around?
Potentially in New Hampshire, and I'll look into it. Viking is equipment that we use for that kind of like they've gone up quite a bit. I've talked to Timmy Davis in Berlin. He said Penco is way higher than Viking was last time he checked. So it's just everything going on. Stronger. But it's a daunting situation that we're kind of in again.
All right, so we'll talk tomorrow morning, Martin.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, sorry, we're a little bit behind here, folks. Just about an hour. Hasn't happened for a while. Don, you all right?
I'm fine. Yeah.
In your way.
Thinking about the trucks, it's just, it's
It's a lot of stuff going on.
a lot of money. That's what we need. That's the main thing we need in our town is keeping our roads.
Keeping the infrastructure where it needs to be. That's the only thing we have, right? Just about employees, about infrastructure.
So I mean, we get extended warranties on the trucks in Berlin, and once that extended warranty is done, off it goes, 7 years future. And they do really stick to that schedule, especially because we have the same thing with the cruisers too. Because they just,
Well, we had a pretty good schedule, and then the COVID thing kind of messed that up, as you said, but I think we need to look at that, and as you said, pre-built, so I'm in New Hampshire, I was just buy a Western Star dealership, and they looked like they had brand new.
Yeah, I know we get, both bars from each people build, so.
All right, so the next agenda item is something that we had done or worked on last fall. Actually, I think it's been a couple of years or 2 or 3 years we worked on it, and this was the parcel that we were as a town was selling to Ray. And we went ahead last year, we put it in the newspaper, and it had to be posted, I think in 3 places or 2 or 3 places. That's not the point. But it was posted incorrectly. So the parcel ID was incorrect. So my idea would be to just repost it, see if there's people I know, and I think actually Sean may have had some interest, I don't know, in the piece of property, I don't know, but there had, I think, and maybe it was him, maybe it was one person the day before it was closing out, had just called and asked about it. But that was it, but then we realized that the incorrect span number, or is that what they used? The parcel ID number was incorrect. So my ask or my thought is that we would just go ahead, same terms, same everything, we'd go ahead and post it, see where it goes, as we did the last time.
This is so Ray can buy it, or Ray is?
Yeah. And then if it passes through 30 days, then it's just the terms that they in the previous, like, were not quite 43 years ago.
Right.
But back.
Okay, so you don't need anything further from me at this point?
No, I think the thing we just need to do is just repost it.
I'm not gonna ask you guys to take care of the road if we ever do that there.
This could be part of the purchase and sale.
Yeah.
You can't ask temp, right?
All I wanna do is get a path, get a cabin, build a path, yeah, I don't need to have a 4-wheel drive, I just want a path. Cabin, a path to us, so I know where it's at, and I can go sit, spend my hunting days in a warm area.
Put private
Warm
property
area?
signs up there.
And, yeah,
Did you say warm?
warm,
It's not warm up there.
well, in a cabin,
Okay, all right.
nice, that's all I want, you know, I don't intend to.
All right, so
Put your condos.
Yeah,
No,
that's all, that was my intention to make it decent.
all right, so we'll just repost that. There's nothing, I don't think, to vote on here. We just do that. Then when it comes back, we go ahead and vote to do it.
All right,
finish it up.
thanks for everything.
All right.
I wanna come up and visit you in the cabin.
Okay. You're welcome to. I'll have the bottom crown for you.
Okay, good. That sounds good.
Good night, good night.
Good night, Ray. Take it easy. Sasha, reports, communications.
I received a phone call from Agency of Transportation. John Dunbar would like to, wasn't really calling for permission, but, wanted to know if there was any negative feedback on closing the pull-off just past Bay Rock because of the issues that have been going on lately with dumping.
I don't think, Don, you said there was a whole,
Oh, yeah, there was quite an operation there on that day. The governor was there. He was doing an amazing job, climbing over the bank. They needed a loader and a dump truck to get all the stuff that was dumped over the bank. So yes, they are gonna put posts and close it off, plant grass and trees. And, my only feedback, and I mentioned it to one of the folks there from V-Trans, was keeping an eye on the pull off that's about 0.2 of a mile further up going north towards the dam. Which is grass with some small trees growing and stuff, that we don't get that to be an area that people pull off into and then also pull off into the dump over the bank.
I think the shoulder's real steep there.
No,
No, I'm thinking of a different spot.
I was thinking of a different spot.
Never mind.
It's another grassy, I mean, when everybody's driving by, that would be my only feedback, that we should all just keep an eye on that, or what we're doing, but blocking off that, they ought to block off that one as well. It's,
Good. Kelly, any thoughts? I think it's a good idea as well. Keep out, I know we had someone, living there a couple summers ago, in their car. Okay, Kelly, Sasha?
You wanted an update on the nonprofits?
Yes, please.
They've all been paid except for Waterbury Senior Center, Madrigal Valley Senior Center, the Children's Room, Vermont Association for the Blind, Central Vermont Council on Aging, and Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice. They've all been contacted for paperwork, I just need updated W-9s, they all know that we need them. I gave them the deadline of November 1st. So we still have quite a bit of time before they.
And they were those, did you email those out or did you?
Between email and sending them registered.
Okay, so everyone is good. So it's all documented that we.
Wait, so the deadline's September 1st when we get paid for.
November 1st.
You said, okay, November 1st, I'm sorry.
November 1st, I need that by, so.
Right, okay, yeah, I thought you said September, sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Good.
And I've caught everybody up to like the people's I've given the last 3 years and I got them in AP for signatures so that you guys can. hopefully go.
Well, that's good. And that's something we'll have to highlight in the report next year. I mean, we're able to get all those taken care of.
Yeah, and then not to add, well, thanks, Sasha, I had to talk to the town of Waitsfield about something else last week, so I asked them. They don't require insurance. They asked for the report and they don't ask for an updated W-9. So, not to add any controversy, but I guess to add any controversy. That's what Waitsfield does.
So downgrade the COI.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah, so I just, because, yeah, I had to go in there for something else and ask them, so.
so they don't require that, the W-9,
An updated one, no,
right? They require it one time.
one time,
That's it.
yeah. But then they did say they had like too many, so then I don't know, they're gonna reach back, I don't know, they're gonna reach back out to organizations and, yeah.
It's their responsibility to update that W-9. As a policy or something, we may want to talk about, all right. Maybe it's not every year, maybe it's every third year required to send them.
Yeah, I just was there last week, so.
Yeah, no, I think it's good feedback. But thank you, Sasha, for getting those out.
Cheryl needed it noted in the minutes that Tom gave permission to do 2 liquor licenses for Farmhouse Flowers. She signed for Tom on those. I have the Duxbury Fire contract, it came back with the signatures on it. CV Fibers is reappointed. This is just for information. It's only Chuck and Sybil on it now. Karen doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. And I've got 2 warrants. Stefan has asked for his first half of his fire warden pay. The approval on that. Got a few overloads and then the local emergency management plan adoption, just needs Tom's signature on the annual thing.
Very good. Thank you, Sasha.
And then in your pile of stuff, I have a list of planning commission and development review board terms. Just to have it in front of you to
Think about
for.
getting them synced up.
Yes, to get them synced up for
All right, we'll take a look at that. Callie, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yeah, just bring it back around because it's getting to be summer. CDLs, Class A's, the trailer. What is the plan for that with the summer? And where are we at with Eric? in the CDL?
He, I talked to Martin on the phone last week and Eric was in the process of doing his pre-trip inspection. And I, you know, if he passed that, he's gonna take his road test, but I don't know.
So that was the question when I asked how it went today. And that was the bad news. So we need to have the discussion tomorrow. This was actually the 29th. He went as well. And it didn't work out. So that was just last week.
Yes, that's the day talk, Mark.
Yeah, was it Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it was. And then, so I followed up to see, because I've been following this, wanting to get this been one of those things, and so I heard it was today, so when I didn't hear anything today, I was concerned that there may have been, you know, a failure again, and that's what Martin confirmed with me.
What's involved when we say it's a failure, actual?
So like, I don't know what happened. Yeah, so I don't know what happened today. But on the 29th, they do a walk around. You know, that's a major part of the getting your license. You do a walk around with the vehicle and you need to point out, and you may know better or you may know better than me, but whether it's the brakes, the air brakes,
You have to go through every little thing. You have to pass the air brake test, which goes through, it's like a certain PSI and you have to be right on the number. They go through and they don't do it. So like maybe in the manual, they say your pre-trip inspection, you know, goes like this and they start at one point and go to the other. But the person doing your test decides where you start in that pre-trip. So they may start you like halfway in the middle of your pre-trip. And you have to go around with the tires, brakes,
you know, everything restart. So, and there are certain things that are automatic failures you can do with like everything. And then like the other day, I just forgot to mention the brake, you know, which is a major thing. Not funny, but so that's, you know, no matter how well you did on everything else. And then today, I don't know, but the idea was he was going to get that and then get the trailer endorsement, but at this point, we're having issues getting that. So I don't know how you can. I mean, I think tomorrow I need to call or talk to Martin first thing and find out what's the problem. You know, I don't want to get into the, you know, otherwise we go into executive session with some personal things, but I'm trying to, you know, talk to him as well to find out. I mean, we need help, and I mean, it's been, you know, a lot of people trying to assist, so we need to find out what the problem is and find a solution. Because it is required, this job, you know, it hasn't been an issue because, you know, we've got 3 other guys, but if one of those guys goes down and we need someone to run a tandem, then it becomes an issue. And right now he does a great job in the grader and everything else, so it's really not an issue. We just, you just need to figure out how to get him certified or whatever they license. So.
Yeah, and well, the A is a big deal because the A is the trailer. So anytime they basically back up to the trailer and hitch it on, they're all overweight for their licenses with nothing on it, which isn't a big deal until you get caught, but if anything happens, I mean, if, you know, you park it close to the shoulder and it becomes an insurance thing with damaged equipment, it just makes it a slippery slope.
Right.
And it affects, it's not just the town, but it also affects the guys in their CDL because that is their primary license. They don't have a regular operator's license to fall back on. That is their everyday license.
Yeah, so,
So like a class, you take a class.
you can,
What?
yeah, you can, yeah. They're expensive. I mean, it's probably what, $5,000 for my
Yeah.
class?
Yeah, because I know when we asked them to get the aid, it was before the DMV was requiring the class. I think now they require it or some version of it that you have to do.
And I know at one point Sean was eligible to eventually use that out of the garage here.
Yeah, I don't
And I don't
know
know
if
if that's
he's,
still
I don't know if he still is. I mean, he's still maintaining
his, but I don't
his
know, there
A.
may have been a change as far as,
How you get it?
yeah, because your garage, I know we went through an audit last year with that. I don't know, I forgot to ask Martin about that. So, Sasha, do you remember that when, what was it, is it the feds that come in and do that kind of it was right after actually Eric had taken his, maybe the first test last year. Because they come in and they evaluate the process. Kind of like, well, why did this person fail? So we were being audited to make sure. And I didn't hear anything negative. You mentioned something about possibly training, so. So maybe there's an opportunity, but we need to get that done and the trail endorsement taken care of.
Yeah, so we at least have one.
I mean, you could literally take the exam endorsement without taking the class, it's like self-taught and you through or whatever.
Basically, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
But maybe the reality is it's gonna take the class.
That might be
We
the,
might have to contribute to that or something.
yeah, no, I think it's an investment, in you people. I mean, you gotta to make sure they're,
Yeah, well, it's a.
he does a hell of a
Good
job.
asset to the town.
It really is. I mean, he's out there doing it and
Yeah.
doing what needs to be done. All right, anything else, Kelly?
I don't think so. I mean, there's been a lot of what I think of as probably speeding on Herringbrook, but that's.
Sasha, tell your speeding.
Oh.
Have the sheriff get out that way. Yeah, they spend any time out that way, maybe just see if they can spend some time on that side of town.
I haven't seen them. I've seen Berlin floating. But, it's there. I just noticed in the morning, walking in the morning more, and a lot of people are clipping down the road at a pretty good clip.
Get out there and start giving the citizens a rest or something. I don't know.
Well, because Luna was hit by a car in front of our house and that person didn't stop, she's very car reactive, so I notice it a lot more when people are looking by. I mean, to the point that, I mean, she's a big girl, that she's almost like pulled me
Wow.
into the road when people have been cruising by. So,
Throwing you in front of her.
Yeah. Take it. Be careful there, Kelly. All right, Don, what do you have for us? Is there anything else?
no,
Sir Don?
Old stuff you mean? Or-
Yeah, what do you, old stuff, new stuff,
Well,
whatever.
do we wanna? I mean, Carol's here for the environmental, this thing, the next thing, updating.
Want to jump to her? Yeah, let's get her out of here.
Yeah, I
Why
mean,
don't you
you know,
roll up here?
I have some stuff, but or I can.
And we need to go into executive session too.
Oh,
Carol looks like she's having a lot of fun back there, but. Cool.
yeah, I don't think she wants to.
Let her get out of
Much more fun up here. So you probably recall my bringing the environmental assessment stuff to you several months ago. And you just weren't close enough to anybody actually participating in the buyout to go through that. There's now money available, Twin Rivers, or Two Rivers, Ottaquechee, Planning Commission, Regional Planning Commission, got a grant to cover phase one assessments for all the properties that DEC recommended have one in the slew of buyouts that's happening around the state.
So they have the money to do a phase one. They also have the money if something shows up in the phase one to do a phase two, and potentially money to do any cleanup if it does go that far, which, we have no idea. DEC has recommended that Majestic Auto and then the two Douglas properties on either side of Majestic Auto that are residential, so they're not generators, but since they're close enough to the three properties should have a phase one completed.
That's, very Westover or no?
No, it's all three Douglas.
Oh, they're all three Douglas
All three
properties.
Douglas
Okay, good.
Not Larry's, excellent.
Right, Larry's was not recommended. Everything else is residential, so it wasn't recommended. So there's now money available. I'm working with the Douglases to get the thing. The RPC needs some paperwork signed in order to move ahead with it. And I also need you all to say, yes, go ahead and move ahead with it, because it's really the town who's doing it, and it should be done before the property becomes the town's. But since they're still there, we need permission from them to be on the site and
Yes,
some.
I think we should go ahead and do it, right?
And they want to do
Who wants to do it?
the Douglases.
I haven't been able to touch base with them yet. This all just came up at the end of last week. I reached out to them. I haven't heard back. I'm hoping
But they
that they're
back,
happy.
way back, they were talking about doing.
They weren't, I was talking with you about doing
They
it
probably don't.
because I thought it was all going to be on the town to have it done. But now it turns out, we need to move forward with it before the town takes ownership of the property, so that if there is anything that needs to be addressed.
Well, who's driving of those properties which flooded, right? That's the premise for doing the buyouts.
Right.
Even though there's people there who want to still stay there. But
Right.
they have to basically accept a buyout because they're not gonna have insurance and they can't live in a flood zone like that anymore.
Well, the one property never even joined in to the buyout situation. Out of the whole string of properties there's one that never participated. And then the Douglases have pulled two properties out, one on either side of Route 2.
So they didn't have to, they were forced. to do
Yeah,
this.
this was a
Okay,
voluntary,
no,
yes.
I understand.
And the environmental assessment, the phase one only is. So FEMA does not require a phase one. They don't require an environmental assessment. It's kind of on the town. So if you want to do it, you're taking possession of the property. You should want to know if there's anything in the ground there that you need to be worried about. They're going to be non-residential properties. They're going to just be maintained as green space. So there's that balancing of, but we won't really know anything till we do phase one and see
Right,
if
see if there's
the
anything.
phase one might show up nothing that needs to be addressed. And the phase one for Majestic might say, oh, you should do a phase two. You don't know.
But this money, so no one's out
There's
anything,
No one's out anything
and
to
it's a
do.
win-win for us because we really need to know, we don't want to be stuck with a hazardous waste then.
The other wrinkle in this is John Schmelzer feels very strongly that every property should be looked at to some degree. He doesn't think a phase one environmental assessment should happen on every property. He has a couple of ideas that, maybe the closing language with the attorneys could say, this has only ever been a residential property. And therefore, we've done our due diligence, which is something the statute calls for any kind of property. I talked to our attorneys, that would be quite an additional cost because they'd have to do a title search on every property and review everything that the title search of the seller's attorney did. So that's an additional cost. John also has proposed that he do an inspection of each property and turn in some paperwork verifying either it looks good or it doesn't look good or it doesn't. That's something you could talk to him further about. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up that
Okay, that's what they're involved in doing for the state.
Right. Right. So. I don't know where we want to go with those. We have our first closing is scheduled, do you remember the date?
My birthday.
She's one way to
3 weeks away.
So that's our first closing, and that's actually on the other side of Route 2. That's,
Is that Steve?
it's
Steve
Steve's.
Longship?
Yeah. And Larry's looking to have a closing at the end of June if he can, and I think the noise properties are ready to move into closing, at least one of them. The phase one environmental assessment is good for 180 days, so we've got to, that's the other thing I'll be juggling with everybody, is making sure that we don't do the environmentalists, the phase one so early that we have to redo it before we close it.
All right, well, I think we're all in it to have you go ahead and do them where necessary. Or the three.
Right.
And as far as this other stuff that John comes up with, I mean, I don't think there's anything for us to do on that right now, is there, or respond to him, or?
Could let me know if you think it's worth spending what you would need to spend for the attorney's work to do title search on everything, or if you want to talk to John at some point and consider doing his other route of.
What's your advice? I mean, you've been dealing with this and you're working, I mean, what's your advice to us?
From everybody I've talked to, you know, they only want to do what DEC recommends, even though they don't have to do any of them. They are going to be maintained as green space. There's never, and that's one thing in one of my really early conversations with the people at DEC who do this work, is that you could zone something so that it's never allowed to be residential again, which we don't even need to go to zoning to do that, because that's part of the agreement of the town taking ownership of the property, because it will only ever be a green space. We were talking to the National Park Service about possible, bike trails, river access, whatever, but it still would be a green space. I think most of the push to do everything on all the properties is John.
Right.
I think all the other people, I was in a meeting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people the other day from every different angle of this, and none of them seemed concerned about doing it on the other properties.
Residential.
Right. And I'm not aware, and I don't know that anybody's aware of any of these properties ever having been anything but residential.
I'm not. I don't know, so what's you guys' thoughts? There's 7 other people sitting around the table and I'm that concerned that I'm dealing with it all the time. I guess I'm not, and it doesn't sound like you are, and it's what you do.
And 7 other people.
Not John.
Right, and again, I was just gonna say that John's expertise and that's what his thing was, so.
Yeah, I feel like people that, a friend of mine does like, he works for a private company, does like environmental remediation. The people that do that always default to for a reason.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure he's got a good reason.
Well, and
Majestic Auto, it makes some sense.
Right.
Truly see.
Right.
With that, but not on everything, and I mean, it will be, they don't even let you put like dugouts. In some of these places, like it is just green space, so I think. I mean, where it makes sense, yes, but not everything.
And that's the other thing, is the grant is only going to cover the DEC recommended sites. The grant's not going to cover a state scheme for all the sites. I can talk to John a little further, and now that I've kind of gotten some feedback from the town attorney saying it would be pretty expensive to do a title search on everything.
Right.
For each of the properties, I can talk to John a little bit more and get some more details about his other proposal, about him taking a look at everything.
Yeah.
And see where because he's mulled that over for a few days now, see what he thinks, and maybe bring that back to you at your next meeting.
Because if he saw something, then at that point, maybe that would initiate doing
Right.
more. Which you would probably recognize, I would think.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure.
Anything else, Carol?
I think so.
That's good stuff. All right.
I mean, I could go on and on, but you guys want to go home at some point. Okay.
I just think it's too bad. The whole thing, all of them, where all the folks gonna go, they're all, some of them have been in Moretown for a long time.
I think for most of them, it's working out okay.
No, I understand, but
Yeah.
still, they're losing properties and residents and
Right.
it's too bad.
Yeah, no, it is, but I think we did the right thing by allowing it.
Oh, yeah, no,
No, there's that, really, when you're losing tax base, you're losing this, but when someone's been flooded out multiple times, it's gonna be quite a
it's just too bad.
Yeah.
quite a thing. So, all right, Carol, thank you very much.
Thanks, Carol. Thank you, Carol.
And Don, you didn't have anything else that you definitely needed to speak about?
Yeah, I always have stuff, but
Oh, I know, it's all this good stuff too, but. Do you want to go ahead? Is there any, the town hall renovations? Do you want to go?
well, basically talked about the top of it.
So you're gonna get together, with the finance committee.
So, this all committee and talk about it.
And so why don't we go ahead, we'll, the 7:35 new business with the Valley Conservation Alliance. We'll just go ahead and table that for the next time.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have anything that you wanted to bring up?
Not that we can tonight, we can, yeah, anything.
All right.
Pertinent, or you want to be very time sensitive.
All right, seeing nothing else that we need to act on, I'm gonna move that we go into executive session for confidential attorney-client communications as to the Piazza properties. Is there a second? Thank you, John. Any discussion about it? No.